Back in September 2023, Rupert Neve Designs released the Master Bus Transformer, and I can't overstate this enough when I say it's a gift to the mixing and mastering community. It's capable of making your mix sound like a finished master. Everything about the Master Bus Transformer is designed to add space, harmonics and colour to your music. It can be used on pretty much any audio source you want, from drums, bass, guitars, piano, vocals, and we'll explore some of those later in the video. But before we go any further, let's see how impactful it can be on a mix.
Silence, sit on my own, holding my hands up, holding my soul. No conversation, I need to be home. Missing my lover, I need to be home. You wanna come over and give me my confidence again. You wanna come over and give me my confidence again.
Looking first at the input stage of the Master Bus Transformer, you'll see we've got a high pass frequency, which is fairly self-explanatory. You can activate it and choose any frequency between 15 and 100 Hertz. Just to note, I always use this with at least 15 Hertz cut off, or possibly even a little bit higher, because to be honest, those are the frequencies we always want to get rid of, and those are going to let us have a lot more headroom when it comes to mastering as well. One thing to really note about the input stage is it's completely clean. It's transformerless, and Rupert Neve Designs made it that way so that the audio comes in as cleanly as possible before it hits various saturations and things like that. One thing that's really cool to know about this is whenever I start getting audio into this, is I start with the input trim way down, especially on things like a mix like you just heard, and I'll keep bringing this up until you see the input lights. Obviously they're green when they've got a signal coming in, and they'll just start flickering red when it clips. Once that happens, I just back off, and I keep backing off until I see the red lights stop flickering, and then I'll just back off another couple of steps, and at that point you'll be at the perfect input level to start hitting the other areas. Next up, we've got the equalizer, and it's a really simple, really gentle slope shelf for both the low frequencies and high frequencies, plus minus 9 dB each side. Really simple and beautiful EQ to use, and it's so smooth. It's one of those EQs you can just boost up to 9 dB, and it's rarely too much unless you're at some of the harsher frequencies perhaps, but that airiness at 24 kilohertz is a really easy thing to do that will pretty much work on everything. I usually try to avoid the temptation of doing that, and maybe utilizing this at a slightly lower frequency, and help bringing out some of the upper mids even as well in the mix. It's a really powerful EQ for that. The colour comp is a really unique compressor, and I can't say I can compare it to anything else directly because nothing else is quite like it, but it's reminiscent of a CL1B, but with a lot more fatness and colour and harmonics going on. It's not as smooth and clean as a CL1B might be, but it being an opto comp, it's really flexible. It will work on a mix, it works on vocals impossibly well, it's great on bass, it's basically good on everything, let's face it. But it's really powerful when you start bringing the threshold way down and hitting it really hard, and it actually starts bringing out a load of harmonics, which is really useful when you've got the blend knob and you can blend those into the mix in parallel. It's a nice little trick to do. It gets utilised in really different ways. It's probably the most flexible part of this entire unit, going everywhere from just being tickled on a mix maybe, or even really slammed hard on a more aggressive metal track or something like that. The width stage on the Master Bus Transformer is a complete redesign from the width that people will probably know from the Master Bus processor. Unlike that, this one is actually additive. It kind of has a bit of a roll-off in the really high frequencies, but I find from my experience it seems to enhance upper mids a little bit as well. With the high pass filter, it will sort of leave the lower frequencies alone. So if you set this, for example, to 400 Hertz, it's going to leave everything below 400 Hertz mono, and really everything above that is going to widen and enhance, but it's additive, as I say, so it's almost like a parallel boost to the sides. It's quite easy to kind of go overboard with the higher levels, although it still sounds amazing somehow. But this is one of those things where sometimes less can be more. A gentle touch without going too crazy is a really nice thing to do. Probably the star of the Master Bus Transformer is the Super Silk section. And it features the blue and red silks that you'll see on many other Rupert Neve products. But for the first time, we can use both at the same time for a purple silk. If you don't know these are revolutionary and really not like anything else I've really ever seen on the market. It's the blue section. When you bring this up, we'll take the lower frequencies and essentially rerun them back through the transformer and add more low-end harmonics. So it's a bit like having kind of an EQ effect, but it's like a biggening rather than a boost. Similarly, the red does the same, but for the high frequencies, and it's a really nice way of adding a really natural sheen, but without boosting high frequencies. It's really powerful. The harmonics control is essentially choosing how many of those harmonics you want to bring in from each of these. But one of the misunderstood sections of this is the Xena drive, and this isn't actually part of the kind of blue and red circuit. This is actually a soft clipper. So if you do the input section like I described earlier correctly, and you're hitting this will drive light will light up red when you're doing it correctly. The Xena drive will actually soft clip the output and helps just to glue your mix together, and it's incredibly subtle but really nice gluey sound for your mix. The output stage of the Master Bus Transformer has another couple of transformers. The Super Silk section has got 2 transformers of its own, and the output stage is transformer balanced on the output. And the output trim is really handy because as you go through these sort of saturation sections and the compression and everything, you probably end up with some extra gain, and this will allow you just to trim down and hit bypass all, and you'll get a like-for-like volume match to be sure that what you're doing isn't just, you're not just enjoying a volume boost, it's actually an improvement to the sound overall. It's a really useful feature and really powerful. The Master Bus Transformer is not just for mix bus. You can use it on any audio source you may want, and in this example I'm going to give you now is going to be on some drums, and it's wonderful for this. There's some really nice features for that. So you're going to see me control the input trim like I described earlier, so I'm just going to back it off from the input clipping. I'm going to use some choice EQ to probably fatten and sweeten the drums up. I'm going to make good use of the colour comp in this. The drums will love this, and I'll use this to bring out a lot of the energy in the drums. I'm probably not going to do too much to the width, but I'm definitely going to utilise the Super Silk and bring out all of these sort of harmonics that go on in the drums. So let's see how this sounds. Like its sibling, the Master Bus processor, the Master Bus Transformer is an instant studio classic and absolutely worthy of rack space in any studio. Lots of you have asked for extra content from our videos, and we're going to give you that now, so stick around. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more like this. See you again.
I do not mind if you call me a sinner, baby. I've done my fair share of wrong. Still I spread my arms and feel just like an angel, and I'ma try to bring you in with the song. Darling, wouldn't you want to lie down with the devil? Wouldn't you want to get high? Wouldn't you want to just join me in fire? And I will play passion and you'll play desire, and maybe tomorrow romance begins.